meeting to order. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like to welcome you to the board
Enter the meeting pin followed by the pound key.
We are, just so you know, we're keeping a written record, and this is all also online. So for anybody wishing to watch, this is a public meeting. Do we have any awards?
You're joining a call with more than 4 people. Please mute your phone.
I'm being told they don't have sound in public. So I received a text from one of our department heads saying he has no audio.
Do we have to do the pledge again?
You might want to suspend the meeting for a minute.
Let me see if he has it now.
We'll take a recess. All right, we will continue. I think we left off with awards, recognition, and correspondence. Do we have any?
I do not.
Okay. Approval of the minutes of the May 5th, 2021 meeting.
I move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any additions to the agenda? None. Any public input other than an agenda item? All right. We will now go back into to public hearing mode. I'd like to call on Robert.
Good morning, Commissioners. This morning I have 16 supplemental budgets and 7 transfers of appropriations to consider. During this hearing, we'll consider the 16 supplemental budgets. I will give you a summary of each for your consideration. Budget Order 2021-47, Public Health Reserve, requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in state revenue of $1.2 million and an increase in contingency of $1.2 million. Budget Order 2021-52, General Fund Surveyor, requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in local revenue of $15,000 and an increase in materials and services of $2,000 and an increase in contingency of $13,000. Budget Order 2021-54, Dispatch, requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in transfers in of $20,000 and an increase in materials and services of $20,000. Budget Order 2021-55, General Fund, General County, requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in transfers out of $20,000 and a decrease in contingency of $20,000. Budget Order 2021-56, Foreclosed Property, requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in beginning cash of $126,000 and an increase in materials and services of $126,000. Budget Order 2021-58, Human Services SE66 IDPF program, requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in beginning cash of $32,000, an increase in materials and services of $5,000, and an increase in contingency of $27,000. Budget Order 2021-59, Human Services SE80 Gambling Prevention Program, requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in beginning cash of $12,000, an increase in state revenue of $19,000, an increase in materials and services of $6,000, and an increase in contingency of $25,000. Budget Order 2021-60, Human Services Mental Health Administration, requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in state revenue of $200,000 and an increase in materials and services of $200,000. Budget Order 2021-62, Emergency Management Grant Program, requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in transfers in of $15,000 and an increase in materials and services of $15,000. Budget Order 2021-63, General Fund, General County, requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in transfers out of $15,000 and a decrease in contingency of $15,000. Budget Order 2021-65, On-Site Septic Program, requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in beginning cash of $43,000, an increase in materials and services of $10,000, and an increase in contingency of $33,000. Budget Order 2021-66, Court Security Program, requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in transfers in of $15,000, an increase in personnel services of $10,000, and an increase in materials and services of $5,000. Budget Order 2021-67, General Fund, General County, requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in transfers out of $15,000 and a decrease in contingency of $15,000. Budget Order 2021-68, Facilities Reserve, requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in beginning cash of $100,000 and an increase in capital outlay of $100,000. Budget Order 2021-69, Inmate Welfare Program, requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of this budget. This requires an increase in local revenue of $30,000 and an increase in materials and services of $30,000. Budget Order 2021-71, Fleet Management Program, requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in beginning cash of $240,000, an increase in materials and services of $15,000, and an increase in contingency of $225,000.
Questions for Robert?
No.
Commissioner Doran?
No questions.
All right, we will move out of hearing mode.
Did you want to ask for public comment?
Oh, public comment, sorry. Forget it. Any public comment relative to any of the supplemental budgets that have been presented to us by Mr. Paul? Hearing none, we will go out of public hearing mode and into action mode. Any additional questions or comments from commissioners?
No, I would defer to my colleague, Commissioner Doran, to make the motions on these, and I'll just do the seconds.
Okay.
All right. Any additional comments from you, Robert, before we start through?
Move for adoption of Budget Order 2021-47, Public Health Reserve. The Public Health Reserve Program requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in state revenue of $1,200,000 and an increase in contingency of $1,200,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Council, if he wants to, can he just do the number?
Yeah.
Just the title of the,
Thank
you.
Just the budget order number, I believe, is
Budget order number.
I move to approve Budget Order Number 2021-52.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 I move to adopt Budget Order 2021-54.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 I move to adopt Budget Order 2021-55.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 I move to adopt Budget Order 2021-56.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 I move to adopt Budget Order 2021-58.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Move to adopt Budget Order 2021-59.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Budget Order 2021-60.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Move to adopt Budget Order 2021-62.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Move to adopt Budget Order 2021-63.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Move to adopt Budget Order 2021-65.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Move to adopt Budget Order 2021-66.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Move to adopt Budget Order 2021-67.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Move to adopt Budget Order 2021-68.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Move to adopt Budget Order 2021-69.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Move to adopt Budget Order 2021-71.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Missed one somewhere. No 70?
Actually, they're not necessarily in order because mixed in between those numbers are transfers, which we'll be
Okay.
discussing once the chair asks me to go down that road.
So we didn't miss one?
I don't believe so.
All right, we'll move to budget transfers.
All right, today there are 7 budget transfers for your consideration. Budget Order 2021-50, General Fund Victim Witness Program. Requires a transfer of appropriation to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in materials and services of $5,000 and a decrease in contingency of $5,000. General Fund Computer Information Services Program requires a transfer of appropriation to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in materials and services of $50,000 and a decrease in contingency of $50,000. Budget Order 2021-53, General Fund Health Department, requires a transfer of appropriation to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in materials and services of $60,000 and a decrease in contingency of $60,000. Budget Order 2021-57, Human Services SE 66, requires a transfer of appropriations to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in materials and services of $25,000 and a decrease in contingency of $25,000. Budget Order 2021-61, Human Services Developmental Disabilities, requires a transfer of appropriations to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in materials and services of $51,000 and a decrease in contingency of $51,000. Budget Order 2021-64, Community Services Development Program, requires a transfer of appropriation to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in materials and services of $30,000 and a decrease in contingency of $30,000. And Budget Order 2021-70, GIS Equipment Reserve, requires a transfer of appropriation to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in materials and services of $2,000 and a decrease in contingency of $2,000.
Mr. Chair, move approval of Budget Order 2021-50.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Move approval of 2021-51.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
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 Move approval of Budget Order 2021-53.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
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 Move approval of Budget Order 2021-57.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, wait, did you call for the vote?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Jump the gun.
Move approval of Budget Order 2021-61.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
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 Move approval of Budget Order 2021-64.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Move approval of Budget Order 2021-70.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Election payable ballots. Dan, are you on?
Yes, I am, Commissioner Jordan. Commissioner Murdoch. Good morning, Commissioners. Dan Lanai, Director of Administrative Services. And before you is a payable for the Elections Department. It's over the $5,000 amount by $6,149.50. That is for then mailing services. They're the ones that stuff or insert our ballots into the envelopes and all that, and then sort it for our discount with the postal service, and then they deliver it to that postal service, and then it's sent directly from the Portland area out, so it also saves time on getting those ballots to the individual. We mail them on Wednesday, and most people receive them on Thursday by doing that. So, and we stuff over 47,000 ballots. I shouldn't say stuff, that's a bad word to use. We inserted 47,000 ballots, which would take us multiple weeks to do, too. So this is a good process. It removes a huge error, and just a little bit over the $5,000 amount, so it needs board approval. It is budgeted.
Mr. Chair, I move approval for payment.
I would second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 4, road improvement program. Mr. Fellows?
I actually didn't bring this before the board. Doug sent it to me, so I assumed Doug was going to take care of that.
Council?
Actually, it's Commissioner Driven.
Commissioner Doran? Someone.
I can explain this. This is a repackaging of a historical road improvement program. It does have money already in the program. It's a program that allows our Public Works Department, when asked, to have a property owners driven method and actually a mechanism to be able to secure funding for or backing funding for 1 year or 10 years to get roads hardscape. There are several parameters involved in this. The road improvement must begin or end from an improved hardscape road, must be initiated by property owner. Agreed cost must have 100% support and commitment. Timing of improvements is dependent on Umatilla County Public Works schedule. All property owners must sign county-approved road improvement agreement.
Is this a local improvement district? Is that what this is?
It's a modified, it is not a local improvement district. This is strictly in-house. It's a program for road improvement. It's modeled to a similar LIDs, and I can probably explain this better.
Well, it is sort of modeled after an LID. Primarily, this is an existing program that the road department has been doing for many years, allowing property owners to request improvements to road. The difference here is that you are open to carrying the contract. So rather than having all the payment up front, the property owner would have up to 10 years to repay it.
What happens if they don't repay it?
Then, under the agreement, we would then pursue it. We're going to try to structure that it would be a lien on the property and foreclose on that agreement if we have to.
So it
Very
is.
similar to what we have right now under LIDs.
Okay. All right.
But it would take some type of a court action probably to get the money back.
And so, like, the lien on the property is if a property owner were to move prior to paying off their portion.
They would have to, as part of the sale, in order to clear the lien from the record,
Okay.
they would have to pay in full.
All right.
Haven't we had some instances lately when we could have used this for that? I was trying to think of that one road and
I mean, we've had a number of requests within the last, say, 5 years for a local improvement district that didn't go because we did not get the consensus needed.
I was thinking of the road that could have qualified where it was a local road and then all of a sudden it became a thoroughfare. A lot of people were using it.
Yes.
Oh.
Not Cosmos or not Cosmos?
No, but I believe, Tom, is that a county road?
Which one? I couldn't hear all that, Doug. I'm sorry.
The one in Hermiston where it was actually just a local road used by the property owners and all of a sudden it became a...
The one off the end of 4th Street there, where we did the overlay project?
Yes.
That one. Yeah, I don't know that one would have qualified under this program, because it's not a county, it was a public road, and in the past, we haven't included public roads in this agreement process because of the,
McKinney.
McKinney?
Yeah, is that the one you're thinking of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that
Yeah.
goes down to Safeway? Yeah.
so, so I don't know if that totally answers your question or not. Then, I think that the proposal, Commissioner Dorn and my staff and we did discuss this a few weeks ago, and I think it would potentially open up the ability for more people to participate in doing some improvements, modifications on their roads, and without them having a huge bill every year. I mean, it would. I think it might open up the potential for them to be able to afford this on the long term. And so, for instance, this year we've actually seen a number of these agreements go through that are our property owner funded. I think we've got 4 currently signed and 1 more that's potentially going to happen. So I mean, this year has been a huge year for those agreements.
And the difference with those is that property owners painted up front, the full limit.
Okay, I was just gonna ask if so we're already doing this, so, but.
We are, but not with the carrying the contract.
Okay, so the ones that he was just talking, Tom was just talking about are
The
funded
property
up
owners
front.
have to come up with the money.
Okay, all right.
And they still could under this program, but it's just that they have the option of paying in installments.
I got you.
I'm good.
I've added all my questions. Did you want to make that motion?
I would love to. I move to adopt the road improvement program as presented, and I'd also like to thank Public Works Director for all of the assistance and help and education that he's given me. So I do move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Item number 5, X-ray scanner purchase.
Captain Hearn on the phone?
Yes, I'm,
Hey, there he is.
hey, so in order to increase the safety and security of the Stafford Hansel, we are requesting the purchase of an Astrophysics Inc. X-ray scanner. This will be, we are the exact same one that we had in Franklin, so there's about training. It would have a 5-year warranty, and Sergeant Erickson, Roy Blaine, they've done all the footwork on this. They've been absolutely wonderful. They are working with Evan West, who is the Chief Marshal of the Washington Judicial Department, and he has indicated that they will reimburse the full amount of the X-ray machine.
I'm sorry, you cut out. Did you say they would reimburse for the full amount?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that.
Reimbursement. So I'm requesting the approval of the purchase, which is going to be $38,316, and that pricing is based off the TSA contract.
Thomas, I have a quick question, and maybe Roy probably would be. Is this going to replace the one upstairs or the one downstairs?
No, there isn't one over there.
There's one in both now. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
There's one upstairs.
No,
Do we-
no,
who's
that's the
who's
metal
speaking? Have we
detector.
heard that yet?
It was Captain Hearn with the Sheriff's Office.
Did he identify himself?
Uh-huh.
What? Okay. Do you have that for the record, Melinda?
Yes.
Okay. Robert, you have a question?
We have a metal detector upstairs, not an X-ray machine.
You're right. I'm just learning. They all
So
tell me
it's great that the courts are going to pay for the X-ray machine. I'm just curious what our costs will be to set up security in the main floor of Stafford Hansel in addition to the X-ray machine.
Is that going down to the main floor, or is it going up on the second floor?
I guess that's still the question.
I didn't see that in here.
we believe that the best place for this would be downstairs at the main entrance, and we moved the metal detector down there, so everybody coming into the facility would have their property run through the x-ray and then run through the metal detector.
So just like here at the Pendleton Courthouse.
Yes.
So is that going to require extra staffing? I think that was the question that Robert was asking. Or structure.
I think that we've already had extra staffing approved for there. We just haven't been able to hire enough people to take somebody off the jail floor and send them over there.
I think, at least every time I've been there, there's been a deputy that's doing forehead checks all 8 hours the court's open. They're doing entrance checks and those type of things. It would just be would it be the same person doing those duties?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
You have a question, Commissioner Schaefer?
No, I think this isn't going to require any additional structural to be built to the facility. Is it? This is just going to be in front of the door, so when you come in the door, you have to put your bag on the X-ray machine and walk through the metal detector?
Correct.
Okay.
And we actually had a meeting with Mark Tanner over in the Stafford Hansel building. Might require a little bit of electrical work to get some plug in there, but Mark said it should be no problem.
If I'm correct, I was there one day. This has been worked on for several months, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move approval for the purchase of the X-ray scanner from Astrophysics in the amount of $38,316 to be reimbursed by the trial court administrator's contract.
I would second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Item number 6, Mosquito Control District Board appointment.
This is coming before the board. One of the terms on the West Umatilla Mosquito Control District has expired. The person is eligible for reappointment and is willing and has been nominated to be reappointed for another 4-year term.
I would move for the adoption of this request to appoint David Trott to the West Umatilla County Mosquito Control District.
BCC
Oh, there is.
2021-045.
Yep, missed that.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Item number 7, West County Community Development Group.
I can handle this. This is a group put together of all of the cities in the West End, which includes Echo, Stanfield, Hermiston, and Umatilla. It's a group that has come together looking for consensus on common projects within the West End of Umatilla County. It's a very energetic group, and it's been fun to work with so far. What this agreement does is put together a intergovernmental agreement and authorizes the Chair Murdoch to sign that so that all of the cities have the same intergovernmental agreement.
And this is similar to the one we have on the east side, right?
It is very similar.
Okay.
Are you making the motion?
I would have moved to approve the intergovernmental agreement for the West End Community Development Group and authorize the Chairman Murdoch to sign.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. What's the date today?
19.
Okay. All right. Comments from board members?
I have no comment, just that other than it's nice to be in here for the first time. It feels like it's really my first commission meeting.
Yes, I look forward to the opportunity when the public can come in and join us, or at least our staff.
Agreed. I'm just looking forward to the OSHA mandates coming out saying we no longer have to wear face masks if you're fully vaccinated. I keep checking my email, but Let me check one more time. Yeah, still not there. So,
For the record, all of those at the podium have been fully vaccinated and are 6 feet apart. So, all right. Any other comments? We're adjourned.